All right, shalom, shalom. First off and foremost, as always, I want to say, Call Halam La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor being to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well. And a shalom to you, Ankim, out there that's pushing his truth through the spirit, through the power, and through the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Okay, so this is going to be a quick lesson titled Next Play Mentality. Okay, next play mentality. All right, and real quickly, let's go on Google and look up the term next play mentality. And it says next play mentality. Well, first let's do this. Let's go on the online etymology and look up the word mentality, right? Because the root word for mentality is what? Mental. Okay. Now, when you go into the word mentality, it says a mental action or power. Okay. Intellectual activity, mental character or disposition. Okay. So ultimately, what is your mentality in its truth? Where is your mindset at? Okay. Where, does your heart lie? Right? Meaning which the heart goes back to, your mind. Okay. So in its truth, you want to have next play mentality. Okay. You want to have, how they say in basketball, a Mamba mentality, right? So real quick, this is the meaning of the word mentality, and it says, or next play mentality, it says, is a sports and life philosophy emphasizing immediate focus on the present and letting go of past successes or failures. You see? So, like the scriptures say, like Apostle Paul says in Philippians, I'm looking forward. Okay, I'm not looking, back. I'm not looking, at the things, that I went through, because guess what? I'm already here. Okay. Whatever L's, you had to go through, in which the L's are not losses, they're lessons. Whatever learning experiences you had to go through, okay, is you had to go through them for the position that you're in today. Okay. Whatever you're going through was completely tailor-made for you and for your journey and your walk in this truth. Okay. Every brother has, their own, walk. Okay. And within your walk, you have to have, the next play mentality, which also ultimately it's all, it's all Yahweh Shema Shai Hashem Kakwadash at the end of the day to keep you going. Okay. Or should I say that keeps you going. Okay. And it continues on. It says it's about resetting after each play, whether positive or negative, and refocusing on the next opportunity. This mindset helps athletes maintain intensity, prevent dwelling on mistakes, and to maximize their performance. You see? And like the scriptures say, bless the man whose conscience have not condemned him. Because, like, for example, in the world of basketball or just sports in general, okay, you can have a bad performance, and that can deter you of the next game or the next bout. Okay. But you have to, have in the back of your head, like, hey, whatever, the things that, I go through is not to, is not to, how can I say, it's not to, make me look bad or, bring me to a point of overthrow, but to make me stronger. Okay, that's why the scriptures say, basically, don't flee or make haste, because the Lord shall increase thee at that last end. Whatever you're going through, the Lord is putting you through that for a reason, so that way you can grow from it, and get stronger, from that, scenario that you're in. Okay. So real quickly, let's get this quick precept. All right. So you want to ultimately just keep going, man. Okay. Just keep going. All right. The scriptures say, even though a righteous man fall, but he get it back up. Okay. So you got to have that mindset, no matter, no matter real quick, let's read it again. It says this mindset helps athletes maintain intensity, prevent dwelling on mistakes. You see, so you don't want to dwell on your mistakes. Okay, you don't want to dwell on, things that you have, fell short of, because we all fall short of the glory. Okay, we're in a sinful flesh. Things are gonna happen. It's real life shit. Okay, but don't allow those things to, keep you, stagnant. Don't allow those things to, overthink your mistakes. Okay, because ultimately that's Satan trying to sift you by way of inward agitation, by way of emotions. Okay, so right here, this is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 2, and it reads, "Blessed is he whose conscience have not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord." So going back to something like basketball. Basketball is is really a mental sport. Okay, and you can lose a game, and that can kind of discourage you. Okay, but on the other hand, you lose a game, you go back and watch game tape and see where what flaws you did. Okay, so that way the next game, the outcome will be better and you'll be on top. Okay, that's why this thing also is about self-examination. Okay, watching, just like how the athletes, they watch game tape, and they look at, oh, that's what I could have did there. That's why I lost that. So next time I go back in a court or in the field, I do that so that way I won't lose the next time. You see? So to a certain degree, on a carnal level, they're examining, their selves too. But as far as the game goes, so how much more us in the spirit? Okay, that's why it says right here, Sirach 14 and 2, "Blessed is he whose conscience had not condemned him." Okay, because Satan, man, he'll try to make you overthink and overthink about things that don't matter. Things that are not worth overthinking about. Okay. Now, of course, like I say, we're in this sinful flesh, so things, the flesh has a mind of its own, but we have to, of course, through Yahweh Shema Shai, Bahara Kakwadash, we have to, combat that. Okay. And not allow Satan to have a field day, in our mind. Okay. So we have to always, stay prayed up and keep our faith and hope in the name of the Lord. Okay. And it says, "And who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord." Okay. So just like NBA, you got the playoffs and there's a 7-game series. Okay. A team that's down 2-0 or 3-0. Okay. That can be, kind of discouraging if you look at it, if you're looking at it carnally. Okay. But if you're, if you have faith in the Lord, if you have faith in Yahweh Shema Shai, okay, then then guess what? You'll win that game. Okay. So I'm just speaking on a carnal thing while speaking, spiritually at the same time. Okay, if you get where I'm going with this. But ultimately, we have to keep looking forward, man. Next play mentality. Okay? Next play mentality. All right? This is real quick. I'm going to see what else it says. Okay, right here. Let's see. Right here, it gives you some examples. It says, if a player misses a shot, that the next play mentality encourages them to refocus on the next possession and not dwell on the missed opportunity. Right? You don't want to linger, and dwell on, mistakes that you did, or you know, you slipping, and now that's just who you are. No, okay. You got to use that as a learning experience, so that way the next play, the next time you go through something like that, or similar to that, you know how to handle it. Okay. And that's what this truth is about as well, man. Like, this truth is a long journey. Okay, it's a long journey. You're gonna go through things. You're gonna go through ups and downs. You're gonna go through highs and lows. Okay, you're gonna go through bitter. You're gonna go through the sweet, right? So that's why in this journey, like the scriptures say, a man that travels gain much experience. So in this truth, you're gonna meet, certain people. You're gonna go certain places. You're gonna do certain things. But that doesn't ultimately, that doesn't, that doesn't determine the outcome of you, if you get what I'm trying to say, because the scriptures say the inward man is renewed day by day. The scriptures say that the Lord is refining us and putting us through the furnace of affliction. So every day is a learning experience. Okay, every day you're not going to make the shot. Okay, but we strive to make the shot every day. All right, and it says, similarly, after a successful play, it's about quickly transitioning to the next opportunity without getting carried away with the previous success. Right. Exactly. Because you have to keep going. You have to keep moving forward. Like Yahushua said, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. Okay. You got to keep pushing. Okay. And real quick, let's get this. Because like in basketball, see, I keep bringing up basketball. I like basketball, if you can't tell. Okay, but even in that sport, okay, you can make a shot, but guess what? You got to get right back to the other side to hop back on defense. Okay, because the job's not done yet. Okay, that's why he says, you always abound in the work of the Lord. Be steadfast. All right, this is 1 Corinthians 15:58. Okay. Let's see here. Yep, it says, therefore, my brethren, be ye steadfast, unimmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. You see, now the works that these athletes do, their work is in vain, because they're striving for a crown that's corruptible, but we're striving for a crown that's incorruptible. Okay, we're striving for deliverance, for salvation. So the works that we do, anyhow about Shema Shai, are going to follow us. Okay, that's why we say we are the hopeful elect. Okay, so ultimately, we don't how can I say it? We don't dwell in the past. We keep pushing, we keep going, whether positive or negative. Okay, whether positive or negative, man. All right, yeah, and the truth, you have to keep pushing. Okay, that's why the Apostle Paul, he said, real quick. This is 2 Timothy 2 and verse 10. And it says, therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sakes, that they may obtain the salvation which is in Yahushua Mashiach with eternal glory. Okay, the NOT reads, so I am willing to endure anything if it will bring salvation and eternal glory in Yahushua Mashiach to those the Most High has chosen. You see? So right here, Apostle Paul is saying, I'm doing these things for the sake of the elect. Okay, putting his life on the line. 3 hours shy, constantly furthering the ministry. Right? That's what Apostle Paul was doing. Okay, putting in work for the elect's sake. All right, and like us today, we're putting the work, and we're showing forth our diligence to make our calling and election sure. Right? Next play mentality. Okay, going back to the NBA, right? Or sports in general. You can you can lose a game tomorrow, but you can lose a game today, but don't allow the outcome of that loss determine that the next day or the next game. Okay, Use that lesson as a as a as a opportunity to turn that into a strength. You see, so the next day you can be even better. Okay, that's why I did a lesson yesterday. It was titled the let me see real quick. It was titled the renewal of the inward man day by day. Okay, because every day, every day is a constant shedding of the old man. A constant, a constant process of growth. Okay, so we have to continue to have the next play mentality, or else you're not going to grow. Okay, or else you're not going to grow if you just stagnant. Okay, and stuck in the past. You got to keep looking forward, man. Okay, so this is Philippians 3 and verse 13 to 14. Now, this is the NLT. Philippians 3:13 to 14. It reads, "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead." See, next play mentality. Okay, I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which the Most High Yahweh through Yahushua Mashiach is calling us. You see, so ultimately we're in a race, man, trying to get the glory, trying to get that prize. Okay, salvation, getting crowned by Yahushua. Okay, that's why we're working for a crown that's incorruptible. Okay, compared to guys that are carnal out here in the world, in the realm of sports. Okay, they're trying to seek a crown that is corruptible, but us incorruptible. Okay, what the hell is an NBA championship or NFL Super Bowl ring gonna do for you in the time of trouble? Nothing. Okay, but what can the name of Yahweh Shema Shai do for you? Everything. It says nothing is impossible. It says it's with the Yahweh Shema Shai. Anything is possible. Okay. So we are constantly looking forward. Okay, we're constantly, just constantly, trying to get better day by day. Okay, self-examination, self-scrutinizing. Okay, that's what this is about, man. Trying to be, now of course, like I said, we're in this flesh, but trying our best, putting our best foot forward to strive for perfection. Okay, just like it says, put on as the elect. Okay, and that starts ultimately, of course, you need Yahweh Shema Shai B'Hashem Ruach first. Okay, but it's all about your mindset. Okay, that's why this lesson is titled Next Play Mentality. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. Lord's order, this lesson was edifying to the Lord's sheep, the Lord's sincere, sheep. And I just want to say, call Lam La Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Ruach. Double honor being to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well. And inshallah, to you, Ankim out there that's pushing truth through the spirit, through the power, and through the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Ruach. With that being said, Shalom.